One, there you go. We are back once again on what should be episode. I got to do the maths quickly. One, two, three, four, five. This should be episode five, hopefully, because we are once again changing things up after receiving a little bit of feedback about episodes being too long. And you know what? I tend to fall on the side of agreement with that. Um, so yeah, this is gonna hopefully be episode five, and if the naming convention fails, then editing Shibe has failed somehow. So don't blame the version you're listening to. Blame the ethereal version you can't see. Yeah. My name's Shibe. We are back on Final Boss Banter, and I have with myself the lovely, hopefully on this side, Shanique.
Editing Sharp will sort it out.
Yeah. How you doing, Shanique? You all right?
I am good, thank you. Feels like a really busy month. I had my first conference at uni, which was really exciting, but really, really busy.
Mm, mm. How was it? Good.
It was really good. I got really great feedback. People enjoyed it.
Cool, cool. Ask me what I've been up to. Ask me what I've been up to.
What have you been up to?
I have actually been up to something very, very game related that you just wouldn't believe if I said it to you. Because I think off the podcast I told you it was a marathon run. I did just say marathon run.
Mm,
I didn't give you any other details, did I?
no.
Okay, this is why I was saving the details. I went, just really listen to this sentence. I went to a Sonic the Hedgehog marathon run.
That's fantastic. Is that where you went?
Yes. Yeah, this is the medal I got for doing a measly little 5K. I say that because basically there was like, like you could do a 20K, you could do a this, you could do a that. And the thing is, yeah, I think I really wanted the medallion. Okay, so I'm gonna have to give you some backstory. So every time I go on Instagram, they always advertise like, oh, you should do this run, you should do this run, and they try and like sell a medallion, and it was like like a Lord of the Rings medallion, and if you do 5 runs, you get 5 medals, and they're like the best medals you've ever seen. And then one day I was like, you know what? Bet you got me. Let me see how much this is. It was like 120 pounds, 120 British pounds for like five
Wait, to
for like no,
to enter.
so you enter, but basically a part
Mm,
of your entry is like you are allowed to have this metal, solid metal, like Lord of the Rings uh, thing, whatever it is, yeah. And when I looked into it, I was just like, there's no way that I'm going to spend 120 quid and then do like 5 runs just to win. Like, I mean, granted, the medals were really cool. Like, they almost got me. That's how cool they were. But, you know, anyway, obviously, I didn't do it. And then this bad boy came up. Right here, look at that. Look at that. I bit it somewhere because I was trying to do, the Olympics, like that thing, right? And yeah, it came up on advertising, and basically it was so first, number one, I've never been to a marathon run in Malaysia, so that was going to be interesting regardless. Number two, it
mm.
was relatively cheap. It was like it was you know what? Wait, actually, wait there. I need to show you something else. I just remembered. Wait there. Wait. You can still hear me, right? Hold on.
Yep, yep.
I just remembered.
What
How could I
exciting
forget
things.
this? Okay, hold on. All right, I'm right here. I'm right here. Okay, this is gonna get this way. I'm not gonna show the camera just yet. Wait. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I came up and it was like it was 18 pounds. Firstly, it was 18 pounds, which is like relatively cheap adjacent, let's say. And then it was like they were giving you a movie ticket to the next movie, right? They were giving you a t-shirt for participating, and obviously the medal. So you've seen the medal. How cool is that though? I mean, it's kind of nerdy, but I mean, that's what we are, right? That's what we do. We like nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
Look, that's so cool.
Oh, that is so cool.
Come on. Okay. So, you know, the thing is, yeah, I somehow convinced myself not to go for the 21K, but if you did do the 21K, there was a shadow t-shirt as well.
Oh,
I know, like,
that's cool.
I don't know why I just convinced myself not to do it. Um, you know what's funny? When the marathon finished, yeah, I sat there like just eyeing up the guy who was giving out the Shadow the Hedgehog t-shirts, and I was like, there must be a way that I can like talk my way into this. Like, I felt like I was in a heist movie. I was just like looking at him. I was like, man, he doesn't need all those shirts, right? And like, I'm probably the only British person here, so if he hears my accent, he might be like, you know what? Let me just give this weird British dude a t-shirt so he goes away. uh, in the end, I opted for leaving them alone. Um, but yeah, it was cool. It was fun. It was, you know what? Like I have to say, they did a really good job. Like they had a big Sonic the Hedgehog mascot, like in the full like outfit. And I was actually I was racking my brains. I was like,
Oh, you
actually,
must have been baking.
no, no, you did. They have like fans built into the suits, innit? Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Because the first time you see like a mascot, that's the first thing that goes to your head. And when you go next to one of them, you could hear the fans like spinning. Um,
Ah,
so, but you know what I was actually thinking? I was thinking, where could you? Because some people they go to like theme parks like Super Mario Land or like Disney or something like that, and like one of the draws is like you get to see your character in real life, like technically sort of,
mm.
and I took a picture with Sonic, which I may or may not edit into the somewhere, but we'll see. Um, but like also, where could you see Sonic in real life in that weird kind of way? Do you know what I mean? Because there's not really a theme park, I don't think.
Um,
See what I
no.
mean? Yeah, see what I mean. So, but anyway, that was really
Wait.
cool. Like having him there was cool. Like they were really like they just really made a great effort. They were selling loads of Sonic the Hedgehog merch. They what else did they have? It was obviously a collaboration with a cinema here, right? They were giving away popcorn. They were giving away so much stuff. You know what was really really nice though, like which I don't really think I've seen as much, is there was like families involved, like there was mums with strollers and stuff like that. And I just thought, like, you know what a smart way to want to get kids involved into like health and fitness, because they're like, it's Sonic, that's like his thing, he runs. Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually saw a kid like Naruto run for like at least a solid like 3 minutes of the whole thing. Like and every time he started doing like a normal run, he would like snap out of it, like as if he was doing something wrong, and then decide to Naruto run again. And I was like, oh, bless this kid. But it was cool to see, like, they were enjoying themselves, having fun, and there was just a lot of stuff. But yeah, I did a Sonic the Hedgehog race, which the sentence itself sounds kind of mental. And this medal, right, is actually like it's solid. Like it's so I don't know. Can you hear that? That's so
Yeah.
that's so solid. Like honestly. But yeah, new prize
Um,
possession.
in
Oh,
answer to your previous question, where would you go? I could have sworn that there was a like a Sega theme park, but there isn't.
by the way, you
There
know what
used to be
makes?
a thing
Oh, sorry. Carry on.
go on.
You,
There used to be a thing called Sega World, which was just a chain of amusement parks, but now they have a Tokyo Joy Polis, which is like an indoor amusement park just for Sega. But do they own the rights to the movies?
I'm gonna go a
Or do
hard
they just
pass on
own the
that.
rights to Sonic?
This I'm gonna answer your question by making a statement, and that is what makes this also very funny. Is the reason I don't know the answer to your question is I'm not even that big of a Sonic fan. so, so, it's like, you could ask me loads of stuff. I have no idea. But you know what? You know, genuinely, why I decided to do it, even though not being a big fan, was basically like I had a feeling that it was going to be very well organized and put together, and it was. Do you know what I mean? It was very well put together. Like it was really cool. Like I'm probably more of a casual Sonic fan. Like I try and play the mainline entry games. I really liked the Game Boy Advance game Sonic Advance. That was really good. Um, you know, the interesting thing about that, actually, we are a gaming podcast. So the interesting thing about the Sonic Advance series was I would argue that those games were a better representation of Sonic at the time compared to necessarily what was happening. Because I think Sonic at the time was having a very hard time transitioning to 3D. So you had like Sonic CD and so like all these other different Sonic games. I don't think it came out the same time as Adventure, Sonic Adventure, but yeah, like even okay, even if it did come out after Sonic Adventure or like yeah, just after or like during or anything like that, I think you can still make the case that it was a good representation of Sonic because Sonic is like that thing of it's like a 2D platformer and very heavily based on speed, right? Like that's the whole point. And as interesting as like adventure and all of these stuff are, which you know still need to play by the way, um, like you can't deny that the best evolution of what we did have from the Sega Genesis era, the original Sonic games to Advance. Personally, I think it's something that makes more sense in my mind. Um, and it was such a good game for what it was because there's another thing you got to think about as well, which is on Game Boy and like all these kind of consoles, like I feel like Super Mario was like just killing it. Like they were porting like, a lot of their games onto it. They were basically the leaders of the handheld market. And then, something like Sonic comes along and it might not have won any sales award necessarily. I mean, it might have done. I don't have the info, but the fact that it was as good as it was, it really goes to show that they actually they wanted to be in that race. Excuse the pun. But yeah, that's kind of it for my Sonic adventures. Mind the pun. Uh,
Uh, I wish my partner was here because like one of the first conversations we had about games, he was telling me about this Sonic game, which I'm going to completely butcher because I've never played it, where it switched between 2D and 3D. It was something to do with pinball. And it was so interesting hearing about this like side scroller almost, where at different points you'd switch to a 3D while you played pinball and then switch back to the 2D. And it was such a cool idea, but I've never played the game. He'd be able to lay down the Sonic lore on that.
a pinball game that goes from 3D to 2D.
Mm.
Maybe I mean it could be Sonic Pinball, but that's maybe too much on their head. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I know. I never played Sonic. Just in the way that for the first time ever, I played Mario. I
Oh
think
yeah,
last week.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Was it?
yeah.
No, it wasn't last week. It was
Wait, wait,
last
wait, wait.
month
I got a
sometime.
question. I got follow up actually. Hold on.
Yeah,
You've never played Sonic, but like when you were young in that kind of era, did it never come up?
it did, but it just wasn't a game I was playing.
Uh, so, but did you like see it? Did you see? Because okay, the reason I ask is this year
I
because
watched a cartoon.
okay, okay, fair enough. But okay, the reason I ask is basically because um, I feel like there was just some games you couldn't get away from. Like, no, especially when we were younger, like maybe when we were like, let's say like 12, 13, something like that. It was like, for example, Street Fighter 2. Like, if you went to someone's house, they'll be playing it. Or if you went to the fish and chip shop or something like that, they would have like a little arcade machine somewhere with Street Fighter 2. Or especially in London, like I'm surprised you wouldn't have seen more.
Ah, So I didn't eat at the fish and chip shop when I was younger.
Oh
When I
yeah.
was that age, I was in secondary school. None of my friends played games.
Ah,
I was like an alone gamer, and I didn't
yeah.
really engage with, like, for better or worse, with the online environment. Like, I wasn't on Reddit. I think I was just about on Tumblr when Tumblr was more like a wholesome little community of people just sharing their art in like a corner of the non-porn version of Tumblr. And so I was very sheltered because it wasn't really until maybe uni or like after we left uni that I started to engage with the online community. And by that time I was mature enough that like the toxicity of it was just like, oh, how dare you? But also it doesn't really mean anything to me. I don't know you.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
so I managed to kind of like carve my own weird journey of games
right.
because I just played what I liked.
I hear that actually. I think what probably happened to me is that some of my family members, because they were older, they were probably more into the trends. So, for example, if like Street Fighter came out and everyone was playing it, like I didn't know any better because I was like 7 or something like that. Like my gaming history starts really young, by the way. I like to the point where like it would be so hard for me to remember my age and remember when the first one game I played. Like I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was Street Fighter. But anyway, um, yeah, I guess maybe I was a bit more into the trends because they were a bit more older. So if something was a trend, they wanted to play it because otherwise they're missing out, if that makes sense. So if
Mm.
Sonic was like everyone's talking about it at school, they'd probably go to school and be like, "Can I borrow it? Bring it back home." Obviously, I'm still at home because I'm so young, or something like that. I can't even make. I don't even remember like yeah, like I'm trying to think like nursery or something like that, and it's like, but I'm pretty sure like I knew what games were before I went to nursery. So then, do you see what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But that means that they must have been into all the trends, borrowed stuff, came back home, then played it, and then that's why I knew what Sonic was. Do you know what I mean? Like, because there was a bunch of games like that, or when I went to someone's house when I was like maybe like 10 or something, like if they had a game, I sort of knew what it was, or they didn't want to miss out the trend either. So because I feel like especially like my kind of childhood, like there was a lot in my area, there was a lot of different like trends that we went through. One minute it was like Pokemon cards, then it was this, and then everyone had to play this game. And you know obviously it's back in the day where it's like, oh, if you don't play this game, you're just not a part of the social circle anymore. Like you have now failed. So there was a lot more. I think there was a lot of pressure because, like, I think online pressure, like thinking about it now, just off the top of my head, like I think online pressure, what you see today, is very different from the pressure that we had as kids. Not necessarily me, by the way. Like I was very chill. But like maybe because what you got to really think about is you're in your silo of people, right? You've got a very tight community of like maybe 100 people. So if you get shunned by those 100 people, or you like, oh, you haven't played the game, so you can't really talk to us right now. Like you can talk to us when you've played the game. Like you're like isolated from everything. Like you feel more isolated. Oh, you're playing football together, but because you don't know this thing, like during the football match when they're making a Sonic the Hedgehog joke, you're just not a part of that anymore. So even though you're present, you're not present, and you don't necessarily have anywhere else to go. Like whereas on the internet, if something goes wrong, it's like you do have other places of the internet to go. I don't know, like yeah, who knows? But all that to say, all of that to say that I'm very surprised that you didn't necessarily come across like some of these game stuff that that felt like it was inescapable for me. I'm still quite surprised on
Well,
that.
like that's the other thing because I was always on the outside. I was always different. I was always a little weird.
Mm,
Um, like everyone always called me weird. And so for me, it was always kind of like, I'm weird anyway, so I'll just like what I like. It doesn't matter. And then I found that there were some things like Dragon Ball was like that was on trend for what felt like a week, but was probably longer.
Mm.
And my child mind was like, this has only been a week. And then my friends kind of fell off of it and they were like, oh, it's not cool anymore. And I was like, but you haven't finished the storyline, this arc. And then I was like, and then I started to get into anime and I was like, okay, Dragon Ball's great, but what about Dragon Drive? And it's like, what about like Dinosaur King? It's like, have you heard of Digimon? And like, not the dubbed version, like not the subbed version. No, wait, not the dubbed version, the subbed version with the like proper song in it. And they were all like, no, I only watch it on Cartoon Network. And I was just like, where is your passion? Where is your anime drive? Who are you people? And so I was always kind of just like pursuing, it's like, "Nah, well, I like it and you guys don't. I don't really care. I'm just gonna go with it." And like I know there were other games because I was playing like Spyro because I love dragons
Mm.
and Rayman because I like the fact that he didn't have any limbs, and in my mind that meant he was limitless. Um, Even though it wasn't, obviously. But I know that everyone wasn't playing that. No one was playing Rayman. I was so uncool for playing Rayman, but I was like, I don't care. I like Rayman. He's cool. I don't know what he is. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he's here, but I like him. And Kirby. Everyone thought Kirby was stupid. I thought Kirby was awesome.
Yeah, I guess
So I
fair. I
suppose
guess
because I always sat outside, I never felt like an outsider by not and not even paying attention to the trends. Because even when I got to secondary school, I'm like I have a friend now. We've been friends since secondary school, and she was in the other half of the year to me, so we didn't have any classes together. But we became friends because we were both sitting outside on a bench reading a manga. I can't even remember
that's
what she was reading or what I was reading, and we looked over and we were like, a fellow weeb, what are you reading? Come, we shall be friends, and we've been friends ever since.
that's
That's the
really
friend
nice.
that's like at Comic Con with me as the evil queen.
Oh,
So yeah, and we both kind of like sat outside because everyone was like running around and doing whatever they did, and we were just there like in our mangas, like yeah, this is the life right here. This black and white page is all I need.
that's sweet. I don't think I've ever heard that story from you. That's really nice. Oh. Well, I guess that wraps up the Sonic the Metal section. Hedgehog, Metal Sonic, get it? um, segment of what we're yeah. So you know what? Maybe that shirt will come to me somehow. Maybe it will come. Shadow the Hedgehog. If you redo the run, I'm coming for you, Shadow. I'm gonna do a 20K run just to get an extra stupid shirt. um, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are gonna keep going until the organization of this becomes something we can't do. So we're still having a lot of fun doing this. Hopefully the editing is good and the audio is good. We're trying to always improve bits. That's why we're trying to make all these adjustments because we want it to be better. It's something important to us both. And yeah, please subscribe on our YouTube channel is our main thing. And please look forward to the next episode of us talking about video games when we can organize it. Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Bye.